All right, how's it going? It's been about 2 years since I did a hiking gear video, so I figured I'd just do a quick little update for y'all. I just got back from about 10 days of hiking and backpacking around Colorado, from the San Juans all the way up to northern Colorado. Yeah, and I've been using this gear or very similar gear for 2 or 3 years now, so I feel like I can talk about some of the benefits and drawbacks of this type of gear for hiking in pretty normal Mountain West conditions from like May through October. Starting with the pack itself, this is the Palante Desert Pack. This pack's new in 2021. It's made of super durable, ultra weave 400 and 800. This material is super overkill, really waterproof, extremely abrasion and tear resistant. Yeah, super overbuilt pack. Definitely not UL, it's like maybe 20 ounces, but I just have so much confidence using this pack because it's like, I feel like this thing will just last for years. It's also got the more durable Dyneema stretch mesh on the outside, big outer pocket, side pockets can fit multiple smart water bottles for longer water carries. It's even got a hydration reservoir if you're trying to use a hydration bladder for an even longer water carry. Stashable hip belt for carrying those little bit extra weights, and then really wide shoulder straps. Huge improvement over the V2 that I had previously. Yeah, these shoulder straps are amazing. I'm super stoked on them. Also got the classic bottom pocket. Whole reason I started using Palante packs and have remained loyal to them this whole time. Yeah, this pack's super overbuilt, and I really like that. It's I can feel confident using this in any condition and knowing that it can handle anything I can throw at it, still being comfortable carry. My only complaint is that I found that when really cinching this down, the strap kind of pulls on the seam right here, and that actually kind of pulled the weave of the ultra weave fabric a little bit apart. So I just seam gripped the seam right there and haven't had any more issues since then. Get my rain jacket. This is just the Frog Togs rain jacket. I pretty much use this only for water protection and weather protection. The fit of it is not great. In fact, the fit is so bad that when using it up high on a ridge line, it's just super loud. The wrists ride up really high on my wrists, so my wrists just get blasted by wind. So it's not very effective in that kind of situation, but what it is effective at is making sure that you don't get wet when it's raining. And it's one of the lightest and cheapest options out there, so it's always worth it to have a rain jacket. Never ever leave home without it. Front stake pocket, sweet feature. Got my stakes here. I carry 6 Y stakes for critical tie-outs like the corners and ridgeline of my tarp, and then I use 3 additional tie stakes for less critical tie-outs like the front beak of my tarp, stuff like that. Tent pole. I only carry 1 trekking pole, so gotta use this, unfortunately. Here's the 1 trekking pole I carry. It's a Cascade Mountain Tech carbon trekking pole. I've been using this for probably 5 years now. I replaced the plastic ferrules with nylon locking nuts that you can get at your local hardware store. I'll drop a link in the description to Skirka's guide on what you should look for to modify this. I also modified the strap by cutting it off and just using paracord instead. And then I wrapped duct tape and Luco tape around the shaft, so if I need gear repair or repair in the field, I can use one of these 2 things. Yeah, pole's been awesome. They're really light, really cheap, no complaints. Auxiliary socks hanging on the outside of the pack to keep them dry. These are just Injinji toe socks. Just trying these out. First trip ever using them. They're pretty good. 2 Smart Water 1 liter bottles. Everyone uses them for good reason. They're durable and they work. Auxiliary water carry plus a filter. I use the knock bag. Main reason I use the knock bag is for convenience. I find that being able to basically use any source really easily with this big, wide, open mouth to be able to scoop water into this and carry it is really nice. Sometimes UL hikers will kind of forego simplicity at the sake of weight, and what this thing definitely buys for you is simplicity. Using it's really easy, and it's a great option for this kind of product. Yeah, I've been using it for a little bit over a year now, and it's worked pretty well. For the filter, I use the Sawyer regular filter, and I use the double thread attachment. So you can basically thread this onto a water bottle and then thread it onto the filter. I find this to be the easiest and fastest way to filter water in any situation. I use the regular Sawyer because I've gone through 2 minis and a micro and they all clog. And this one hasn't yet, and it's been longer than at least some of those had lasted. So fingers crossed this thing keeps killing it and working really well. Yeah. Deuce of Spades trowel, just for LNT going to the bathroom, and some toilet paper in the bag. Going to the front pockets now. This side we got a buff. Pretty much always carry a buff. Just really good net gaiter. Put it around my hat for sort of like a high output but somewhat insulated mode of hiking. Yeah, super versatile piece of gear. Pretty much always take a buff on any trip. This is a UV buff, but I've also used the merino buff too, and they're all good. Some just sunscreen for putting on the back of my hands. So I use a sun hoodie, but there's still parts of my hands that don't get covered by sunscreen. Gotten burned there before, so good to carry this, and also for my legs if I'm wearing shorts. Also in that pocket, carry this little tin of Badger Balm foot balm. Main reason for this is blister prevention and foot care. Also, you can put it on the outside of Leuco tape so it doesn't stick to your sock. This stuff's been pretty awesome. I've used it on a few longer hikes and sort of just on every backpacking trip that I've been on. And yeah, it works great. I think it somewhat prevents blisters. This is definitely a nice to have thing, but maybe not essential. Got some earbuds for listening to podcasts or audiobooks. On the trail, I'm mostly listening to Critical Role podcast or an audiobook. On this last trip, I listened to Into Thin Air, Green Lights, and The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Also in that pocket, I've got my Somewhere Global Hotspot. This was, I got this off of a Skirka recommendation. I used to use a Spot Gen 3, and this is way better than the Spot Gen 3. Way easier messaging experience, can still do pin drops really easily. The one complaint that I have about it is I had some issues tracking my hike. Granted, I don't even know if you'd want to track your hike in most cases. Maybe sometimes if you're going for like a very complex sort of thing, but I don't know. I've always found that it's sufficient to be able to drop a pin, at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, and send a message. And this is absolutely awesome for that. I also need this for SOS purposes in case I have an allergic reaction. Yeah, overall, I've only used this on 1 or 2 trips so far, so it seems to be working pretty well. Got one of my new favorite pieces of gear, which is a wind shirt. Oh yeah. The one that I've been using this year is the Patagonia Houdini wind shirt. You can definitely go lighter than this. This is definitely really overbuilt, but I really like how durable it feels. And yeah, so I give it the wind shirt. In the past, what I would do is I would wear like a fleece layer and use that as both static and active insulation. But what I found was that I was not really wearing the fleece that long when I was hiking, just because my body temperature would generate enough heat where I would just want to take the fleece off really fast. And then the Frog Togs fits like so bad that, I don't know, I was looking for something else to sort of augment it with. And this thing fits great, it works great for that purpose, and I don't carry a fleece unless I know that it's going to be really wet or really cold, just because this thing can do so much. Yeah, and I think that this is just a really awesome piece of gear to have. Like I said, you can definitely go lighter than the Patagonia one. I think Montbell makes one that's like 2 ounces, but this is a great piece of gear, and I'm highly recommended. I'm surprised that more UL hikers don't use one of these. All right, I think that's everything on the outside, so we'll get into the main body. Unpack. Okay, this is my tent. It's a Yama Mountain Gear Ceroform 1-person. This tent is extremely weather resistant, very wind resistant, pitches way faster than you'd think, and I love everything about it. I got my Ceroform just before Yama introduced a really sweet side entry option for the Ceroform, and I think now if you're looking at getting this tarp, it's like one of the best options on the market if you're looking for something that can stand up to like any conditions. It's got enough room to where you can sit up in like the main beak of it and sort of do some stuff, and then, you know, plenty of room for sleeping. Again, just ridiculously weather resistant. I got the Sil Poly one, mainly because it was just way cheaper than DCF, but there's some other benefits to Sil Poly as well. It packs up a lot easier, and it's, you know, a little bit easier to get super tight pitch. But yeah, I've been loving this tent since I've been using it. I had to pitch it in like a freak storm on the Wind River High route, and it did awesome at protecting me, so I love it. Absolutely love it. Sleeping pad. It's the one that everyone uses. The X-Lite regular. For some reason, mine is like super leaky. I don't know why. It's not the valve. I like seam grip the valve. It had a hole that I found that I repaired. It still is leaky. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try and repair this. I might upgrade to the newer version with the wing valve. This thing's really warm, and I really like carrying an air pad. I used to not carry an air pad, but this thing is just so freaking warm and nice that I've been liking it. So, food bag. It's just the walk sack, op sack. Been using these things for years, and they work really great. For hikes in Rocky Mountain National Park where bear canisters are required, I'll carry a bear canister. Otherwise, I'm using this probably. Okay, cook kit. This is the first year I've ever used a gas stove. Comes in this really crazy mesh thing that's definitely not UL, but you know, it's nice to be able to keep everything sort of compact. So the pot that I'm using is the Snow Peak 700 ml. I think it's a pretty decent size for coffee, for every meal that I've needed to cook. Pretty user-friendly, got this nice little lifty thing on the side. Yeah, really awesome. No complaints about this really. Also got the Snow Peak Spork. It's awesome because it's purple. Love a purple spork. The stove that I used this year is the Soto Windmaster. See, I've never used a stove before, so I don't know how awesome this thing is, but it feels pretty freaking awesome. Boils super fast, really good in like any condition that I've used it in. Seems to be decently fuel efficient, but then again, I don't even know like what a fuel efficient stove is. Yeah, this thing's been great. Really like it. I've also got the 4 flex thing, so kind of overkill. I'd probably get the 3 flex if I was very, very concerned about weight, but I just haven't felt the need to get it yet. But yeah, this thing's great. For longer trips or trips where I'm just trying to go really light, I'll still probably cold soak. But I have noticed like a huge difference in my like enjoyment of what I'm having to have like a hot meal and hot coffee. It's like, I never thought that I would want it, but now that I've had it before, I'm like, yeah, this is like really awesome. So carry a little scrubby guy in there to scrub out the food residue, and then also a little towel just to dry it. So here's my little doodads bag. Keeps everything dry in the Ziploc. Got a 5000 mAh power bank just to charge my phone, which is the iPhone 12 Pro. I find the iPhone 12 to have like amazing battery life. So this thing can get me probably 3 to 4 days, I'd say, just auxiliary charging, even if I'm listening to podcasts most of the time. If I'm going on a longer trip or I need more juice, I just bring a 10,000 mAh battery. Bic Mini lighter, some Luco tape around it. Mostly use this to light my stove if the auto igniter's not working. Little doodad's bag. Got a charge cable in there for my phone. It's a little bit longer so that I can charge and also use my phone at the same time. Some tenacious tape for repairs. Opinel #3 knife. I think it's a pretty awesome little knife. Works good for opening avocados and just doing random stuff. Some ibuprofen's in there as well as toothpaste tabs. And then a little teeny tiny flashlight. Teeny tiny flashlight is good because I don't really do night hiking. So yeah, so what I'll do for brushing my teeth is I'll bring toothpaste tabs, and you know, if it's a longer trip, I'll bring like a toothbrush as well. But toothpaste tabs work fine if it's just like a one-night trip, and then I brush my teeth before and after I leave. Then last thing in there, it's really annoying, is I carry 2 Epipens because I'm very allergic to nuts. So yeah, this is basically a life-saving medication that I need to have on me. I don't know, I'm not gonna comment too much on what I think about these. I just have to have them. It just sucks because this is like kind of heavy. Okay. Another item sort of new to me this year is the Enlightened Equipment Torrid Apex jacket. So, like I said, I haven't been hiking with a fleece anymore because normally what I would do is I would just use the same fleece for active and static insulation. Now I find that this is great for if I'm stopped, like at camp or something like that. It's like super warm. And if it was really cold, I feel like I could hike in this if I wanted to. I haven't found a need to yet just because the wind shirt seems to be working fine. But yeah, this thing's great for keeping you warm at camp, and it's a lot lighter than this, plus the wind shirt's like lighter than the fleece that I was using. So, and it's like way warmer. So been loving this. Just adds a little bit of versatility to the sleep setup too. Could definitely take my 30-degree bag down into colder temperatures with this as well. So yeah, really awesome. This is the Yama one-person bug bivvy. Basically pair this with my tarp for bug protection. Interfaces super well with the Ceroform because it's also made by Yama, so it's designed very mindfully with that tarp in mind. Yeah, this thing's been working great. I carry this pretty much only on shorter trips. If it's a longer trip, I'll just use polycryo plus a head net. I find that it's just a little bit lighter. You don't really need bug protection in the Mountain West in like September. But it's nice to have this if you're going into an area where you know that there are bugs. Like this last trip, I knew that where I was going had a lot of bugs, so I decided to take the bug bivvy instead of just a head net. Yeah, this thing's great. Works really, really well. Some sleep-specific clothing. Oh, little pillow, just nice for sleeping, good sleep quality. I don't know, I find this thing actually does improve your sleep quality. I don't know, nice to have. Some Sacred Sleep socks. Don't wear these for anything except for sleeping. It's really important that socks like this are loose so that you have good blood flow to your feet. That'll help keep you warmer. So these socks are very loose, and yeah, they work really well. And then this beanie, just found this like random Polartec beanie when I was hiking on the Colorado Trail back in May. The thing that I really like about this beanie is that the band that goes around your head is like huge, so you can pull it down over your eyes, so it works kind of like a sleep mask too. Yeah, this thing's just ridiculously warm and really light. I think it's like Polartec 200 fleece. Like, it's just super sick. Now to one of my favorite pieces of gear. Catabolic Quilt. This is the Flex 30 at the top. I find the Flex Quilt to be amazing. I used to use the Flex 22 and I just found it to be like way too warm, so I switched to a 30. I find the 30-degree rating to be pretty conservative, which I think is well known about Catabolic gear. Yeah, I love this quilt, made here in Colorado. Love supporting that company. Yeah, I've used this in so many different temperatures, from like 50 degrees and like kind of humid all the way down to like mid-20s. This thing's just been super great. I normally start the night with it in like blanket mode and then sort of cinch it as I need. Or if I know it's going to be a little bit colder, I'll start with like the more traditional quilt setup. If I know that my trip's going to be a lot colder, like if I'm going in like November or something and I just know it's going to be very cold, I also have a Nunatak 10-degree quilt that's awesome too. So this is good for like every trip from May to like the end of September here in Colorado though. So this thing's awesome. And just waterproofing for the pack, just a compactor bag. I'm using this for starter backpacking. No complaints. Last thing is the 1/8 inch closed cell foam. I keep the full length. I like that this kind of protects my sleeping pad a little bit and also augments the warmth. Fun fact about this, I used this plus the X-Lite down to like 7 degrees in Arizona, and I was not cold. Granted, I had like a bunch of sleeping clothes on, but like I didn't get any like, you know, coldness from my back. So whatever the R value is of those two items combined is like massive. So yeah, pretty awesome versatile piece of gear too. So just to talk a little bit about some of what you might wear hiking as well. I pretty much always hike in a sun hoodie. I'm trying this one out from Cool. I know Cool kind of gets like a bad rap, but I think this hoodie is actually pretty great. It's their engineered hoodie. The thing I like about it is that the body fabric is like lower UPF but more breathable, and the shoulder and hood have like a higher UPF but like a little bit less breathable fabric. And I definitely find this to be a lot more breathable and comfortable to hike in when compared to like the Tropic Comfort 2 from Patagonia that I've used in the past. yeah, pretty awesome. Always hiking Yosemite pretty much. I'm using these Montbell Canyon shorts. They're like really sweet, like super durable, like bomb-proof shorts that you can jump in a pool with, and they work for that too. So awesome shorts. I also like that they're a little bit bigger and baggier. Definitely like that. And if it's a little bit colder, the shirt that I'll hike with is the Smart Wool 150 Merino base layer. Yeah, I've found that this thing works really great when you know it's just going to be a little bit colder out when you're hiking. Definitely has done a great job of keeping me a lot warmer and still regulating moisture and stuff like that. Sunglasses. These are some random Amazon biking sunglasses. I got the biking sunglasses because I've just broken so many pairs of sunglasses that I wanted something that was just designed not to fail. Yeah, these things have been really great so far. I also put a little Kirky on them so I don't ever lose them. Yeah, I get tons of compliments on these. Everyone seems to like them, so really liking those. And then just this hat. Worn this on every single hiking trip since 2017. From Larimer County Conservation Corps, which is a trail crew that I helped work on back in 2017, and also a KU pin on the side, so Rock Chalk Jayhawk for my alma mater. So these are shoes I've been wearing on my hiking trips this year. I use Dirty Girl Gaiters. These ones are pretty shredded. I've been using them for very many years now, so I feel like I'm pretty due for a new pair, but they're great. Always use them for preventative foot care. I've been using the La Sportiva Mutants. Pretty much the only reason I use these is because they're what Justin Simone uses. If they're good enough for him, they're good enough for me. I do all the mods that people talk about, like putting like the seam grip around this toe cap, and replacing the laces with like thicker laces immediately because the laces are known to fail. I hate the lacing system on these. I think that they're maybe a little bit low volume, but the lug pattern is just like so aggressive that like, I don't know, they're pretty great for like off trail and also decent enough for on trail travel. Then I also use a Superfeet Blue insert. Having an insole has been awesome. I never thought about how much of a difference it can make, and it really does. So yeah, those are the shoes that I'm using. That's everything. Yeah, and it was kind of like a long form video talking about hiking gear, but if you have any questions, just feel free to ask in the comments and I'll try to answer anything you might have. Yeah, I figured it's been 2 years since I made a hiking video, so maybe in 2 years I'll make another one and talk about the gear that I'm using in 2 years. Hopefully I'm still using a lot of this stuff because I think it's all really great gear that's really built to last. It's definitely a thing that I prioritize when purchasing gear and making gear selection is I want to get something that's going to last a long time. So all this gear I think I can recommend to most hikers. I think it's all really great. My base weight I think is like right around 10 pounds. So a little bit heavy, could definitely go lighter, especially on the pack. I think if I was going to do like a longer hike, I might go for something like the MLD Prophet or possibly like an Atom Packs backpack. Super stoked on all this gear. It's been working really well this year, and I think it'll continue to work into the future. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. You can hit me up here or on Instagram. Instagram is @therealcans. Yeah, keep on hiking.